She was a teenage champion known around the world, and then one day her life took a dramatic turn. Tonight, for the first time, Monica Seles talks about her battle with anxiety and depression. How did a world-class athlete turn into a binge eater? And how she is finally getting a grip. Nine-time Grand Slam winner Monica Seles once ruled women's tennis. At 9 years old, she won the Junior Yugoslavian Championship. When she crossed the Atlantic, tennis legend Chris Evert was overpowered.
She beat me when she was 15. I'd never seen anybody play like that in my life.
Opponents and fans thought she came on like a Rottweiler. She hit the ball harder and faster and louder than anyone before. At 17, she was ranked #1 in the world, the youngest woman ever to hold that title, and she was earning millions of dollars in endorsements. Then, on an April day in 1993, her surge came to a sudden and shocking stop during a break at a match in Germany.
So I was just sitting down and leaning forward, and then that's when I suddenly just said, I felt a sharp pain in my back, and I looked back and I saw a person, having his hand and a knife, and then, oh my, this guy put a knife in my back. It's chaos. I don't know what's happening. I see security guards holding a person down.
The deranged German fan who stabbed her wound up being sentenced to only 2 years of probation. It would take longer than that for a traumatized Monica Seles to return to tennis.
The injury itself, I could have come back after the 6-7 months period and play, but emotionally, I was just not ready to come back.
While she was recuperating physically and psychologically at her home in Florida, fellow players voted to strip her of her #1 ranking. Monica was quickly dropped by every endorsement company, losing millions of dollars that now went to other players.
She was on top of the world, and then she was in the gutter after that.
I'm sitting here, all smiles with you, but it was not easy getting here.
Monica chronicled her long journey back in an about-to-be-released memoir called Getting a Grip. It's the inside story of how the aftermath of the stabbing, followed by the cancer death of her father, sent her into a tailspin of depression and corresponding addiction to food.
So you said, I ate pasta, burgers, potato chips, late-night runs to Taco Bell. I'd lose myself in the cookie and cracker aisle. I'd load up with Oreos, Pop-Tarts, pretzels, and barbecue potato chips.
All true. Yeah, I think anything to numb myself, really, because I just didn't want to feel, and I didn't want to face the reality.
It did actually make you feel better for at least a short, brief amount of time.
For a very short period, and then it had the totally opposite effect because I started that self-hatred about it, why I couldn't control it, why I did it. It was one of the worst things that I could have done for my career.
2.5 years after the stabbing and battling a weight problem, Monica tried to mount a comeback. Once thought of as the Rottweiler of tennis, she now returned as a beloved underdog.
You came back and you did win another Grand Slam, but by all accounts, you weren't able to recapture your former glory.
Not even close.
Through sheer will, Monica fought back into the top 5 rankings, all the while trying to hide her food binges. She says she'd sneak off and gorge herself in cities around the world.
Budapest, cabbage rolls with loads of paprika. Berlin, apple strudel. Rome, gnocchi. Antwerp, chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
Yeah, food was my friend because food was there if it was 7 a.m., if it was 11 p.m., and if I was playing in Paris, or if I was playing in Beijing, or if I was playing in New York.
She paid the price by desperately trying to hide her weight in loose-fitting clothes, but fans and a nasty press took notice. British newspapers chided her about oversized servings and said she looked like a sumo wrestler and a hag with a frying pan.
Press can be so cruel. Jeez. She wasn't in the best shape. She was also older. I mean, she wasn't a 15-year-old anymore.
And I just realized the time that I was away from the sport, a new generation was coming up. And the generation was taller, much stronger, much more powerful, and obviously a lot more attractive. It wasn't enough to play good anymore. You had to look good too. I just had an absolute freak out moment. This is just not where I envisioned myself to be. And I said, I need to look inwards and figure out what's eating me.
And what did you find out?
For me, It was obviously dealing with my father's death, my stabbing, my own identity.
Monica says it took extensive therapy to finally address the pain she'd tried to smother with pizza and chocolate. And as she became more at peace with her past, food cravings slowly disappeared.
It was definitely not easy. I mean, and it was baby steps. I did not restrict myself from a single food. I had one cookie at dinner and I'm fine because I know I can have another cookie tomorrow. I didn't have those crazy needs in terms of food because I was suffocating my emotions with it.
Monica also says an important part of her recovery was finding an identity beyond tennis, the only life she'd ever known.
I enjoy each time coming back, and I thank all the senseis for what you guys do.
As one step on her new search, she threw herself into working with children.
Toe, heel.
And she took a chance training for a sport of a different sort, preparing herself for a shot on Dancing with the Stars.
Grand Slam tennis champion Monica Seles.
Monica may have been the first to be eliminated that season, but even she thought she looked good, and the weight has stayed off ever since.
So, what advice would you give to anybody else who's still struggling with an issue like this?
You have to figure out what are those emotions that you're running from and face them head on. Very good.
Monica's been able to keep her weight steady for 2 years now, and as I found out a few weeks ago, she's still exceedingly comfortable on a tennis court.
No. So you only do it. You caught me.
Her time is now filled with extensive charity work for causes involving needy youngsters and abandoned pets. She seems to be one of those people to whom animals and children naturally relate.
Up, up. How did you improve that quickly, huh?
After she quietly retired from tennis just last year, one sports writer said she left as one of the most adored figures in the game's history.
If, in fact, the attack hadn't happened, I mean, many people said you would have been the greatest player women's tennis has ever seen.
The what ifs, they are there. But I think the difficult years made me who I am today, and I think I'm a much happier person than I used to be.
Who has free hands? Woo, 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 woo. Okay.